We've got to address the crime issue. We've got to bring all the people to the table on this, and I was very much behind us opening or putting the necessary funds in to create or open a state patrol precinct that will help patrol and have people help be a spot that our troopers can headquarter out of, and also help police the area up there, because that's it's important. It's important to the citizens that live in the area of Buckhead. It's also important to the city as a whole in Atlanta and the state, and so I was very much in support of what the speaker and governor and all were putting forward, because like I said, we've been working great together right now, and we've really been working well together on public safety type issues, and so we want to continue that, and you're probably gonna see more things that we do to try to help out the citizens for the entire city of Atlanta.
Do you think this satellite office will help satisfy some of the concerns about crime in that area?
Well, I mean, it's a step towards we're going to try to satisfy those issues by getting the violent offenders off the streets, and try to address the issues that people are concerned with, but it's just one step towards I'm sure many we're going to take in the future here.
Yeah, so let's stick with public safety a little bit. The Senate has focused on what I'd call some tough on crime issues, including mandatory minimums for anyone convicted of gang-related crime. Tell us your thoughts on those bills.
Well, I think they were necessary. It was a priority of mine. I think it's a priority of the Senate as well. Senator Randy Robertson has done a good job in bringing former law enforcement man himself, and he has done a good job of bringing some of those issues to light. You cannot have people who continue to commit crimes all being just processed and put back on the street, and because they end up in usually committing another crime. So that's the reason why we're trying to address get rid of the signature bail issue, which obviously is almost like an IOU note. They all they do is sign their name to a piece of paper, and they're asked to show back up at court with no skin in the game whatsoever. And it's been proven that most are ignoring that. So we want to give them a reason to not show up to a court date, and but also we're going to have some mandatory minimums on people who are repeat violent gang-related criminals.
There are some, though, that believe that this kind of erodes on what the former governor, Nathan Deal, did when it came to criminal justice reform.
Look, I was here in the Senate when we passed those initiatives. I voted for those initiatives, and it's no different than what sometimes you look back on things, and there was a lot of good that we did in those criminal justice reforms, but there are some that I think that need to be reassessed, and that's what we're doing right now. But I was fully in support of those initiatives back then, and because I think they were well intended, but we've had plenty of time to look at how some of them we might have gone a couple of steps too far, and we're just trying to reassess them now.
I want to talk about some of your priorities, and one is bringing back this Constituent Services program. Talk about that.
Well, I mean, I've always, when I came into this role, I told people that I would hire, I said, look, we want to have a Chick-fil-A mentality to approach to our public relations. I mean, we want to have a customer service feel to our office, and that's and obviously the people we serve is our constituency. And I tell folks, it doesn't matter who calls you, what doesn't matter party affiliation, where they live in the state, or whatever it is. If they have an issue, we want to try to address it, if we can. And so I, made sure that we have what we call field representatives that cover. Then we have 3 right now, and then they're going to cover different portions of the state, and we want them to be visible, at functions, and we want them to be visible. And one of their first task is, I want you to call every sheriff, every police chief, every county chairman, around the state, to let them know that we're here to provide a service for them in the Lieutenant Governor's office. And that same thing here at the Capitol. I really stress that we want to treat everybody like we all want to be treated, and so it doesn't matter when they come to our office. They know they're going to be met with somebody who's wanting to help. And because really that's what we're all here for, is public service.
So it doesn't have to be a state issue necessarily.
No, it doesn't have. If it's not a state issue, if it's a federal issue, we'll properly put them with the appropriate congressional offices, or either one of the United States Senate offices.
And there are links on the website.
You can go to that website, the Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones website, and there's a full description on who you can contact, and who your state senator is, and who your House rep is, and contact information if they're having trouble not being able to get some of their local representation. They can get our folks to help them out with it.
Any other initiatives this session? I know you're just getting your feet wet in a sense.
Well, so there is one initiative that I've been really proud of. It hadn't gotten a lot of press, but we started a Children's and Family Committee that was purely focused on foster care system, on adoptions, how we go, trying to alleviate some of the red tape, about when it comes to adopting children, and really focus on our DFACs and trying to improve DFACs, because to me, when you hear about children in the foster care system that are having to stay in hotels at night, and for weeks at a time, when you hear about kids being moved from one foster family to another, and also the workload that a lot of those social workers that are working at our DFACs are having, I knew it needed some attention, because there are a lot of good people over there that work trying to accommodate a lot of these needs that we have out there with foster children, really, and it's not that it's not a lack of trying. It was resources and being able to give them the tools to fulfill a lot of those obligations, and we've had a lot of success with that committee, and working with Candace Broats, who's the head of that department there, and her team, and finding out what exactly. I always say you can't fix something if you don't know what the problem is, and so is the best way to find out what the issues are is talk to the people who are right there where the rubber meets the road, and so that's what we've had a lot of success, and Senator Kay Kirkpatrick is chairing that. Dr. Kay Kirkpatrick is chairing that committee, and she has been phenomenal, and that whole committee has done a really good job of bringing these issues to light, and then also coming up with a plan to tackle them too.
Yeah, you're still getting settled in. I noticed you just got some pictures in.
Yes.
Tell us about that process and how your family is adjusting to this session for you.
My family's been great. They probably adjusted better than I have, to tell you the truth. Kids, I've got a 13 and 10-year-old. They're just, they just want to make sure Daddy makes all the ball games, which I do. My wife has always been supportive of this, and she herself has her own initiatives. She's big into the dog rescue world. She started a 501c foundation several years ago, and she's passionate about it, and so so she understands, when you have a heart for service, that's you need to try to be involved in it, and try to fulfill those goals.